Lisa, proud owner of Body Soul Personal Training. Welcome back to our program, The Inner Life of Fitness. We share stories to inspire you to help ignite your inner and outer strength. So I'm kind of giggly like a schoolgirl for my next guest today, and you'll find out why. She's a lifelong Rhode Islander. That's not why I'm giggly, but that's probably why she's giggly, because she hasn't left the state. But yes, she has. We'll share that. And she's also a lifelong friend of mine, near and dear. So welcome to the show, Susan Greenhalgh.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Greenhalgh. It's Greenhalgh.
Yeah, so it's just teasing you. So thank you for joining us today. Me and the listeners, we're so excited to have you. I just want to tell them a little bit about you, just some highlights, and then we're going to dig deep into who is Susan? Who's Susan?
Okay, let's do it.
So Susan graduated from Bryant University with a degree in accounting. She was a controller at the Jewish Community Center in Providence, Rhode Island, and that's where we met, and we'll get into that story. She was a chief operating officer for the Publix radio. But listen, my Rhode Island listeners, I have to say it. We always explain things how to get somewhere by saying what was. So that used to be NPR. Ha ha ha. Yeah, the laughing. All right. She's also an accredited financial counselor and a money coach. And now she's the president of Mind Your Money, LLC. But Susan's passion is really, she loves to snorkel. She loves the Caribbean. That's why I wore this Caribbean shirt. And also she loves her desserts. Hold on. I'm going to do this.
Oh, no, not Ben and Jerry. No, you're teasing me. Oh, man. Are you kidding me?
I know.
I'm so glad I just did my exercises.
It's almond milk. So, and you know what?
If you're going to have ice cream, have ice cream.
So Susan, me and the listeners, we'd love for you to share your journey and in your outlook on life. So, yeah.
Okay. So I guess a little bit of my journey that has to do with how I ended up where I am now. I'm trying to condense this. So I was, lifelong Rhode Islander. I was brought up in a rather large family. There were 6 kids, my mother and dad, one income. So, we didn't have a lot, but I guess we had enough. I think one of the things that really informed my journey is that I didn't have a path to college. My parents didn't graduate high school, although my dad did get his GED degree, and I'm very proud of him for that. But, I didn't have a path to college. And so I didn't start until I was 24 years old. And that was after a series of super dead end jobs. I could see that I did not want to live that life. I worked at a laundromat. I worked at Ann and Hope, stocking shelves. It wasn't going to get me where I wanted to be. So I remembered a teacher, Mrs. Katz, who had encouraged me to go to school for accounting because I was good in math. And so I started that at the age of 24, and I went to Bryant University. And that really kind of started me on my path to money and accounting. I begged for my first job as a teller at a credit union, and I'm so thankful for the gentleman for hiring me. So that was how I got involved with money and finances. And I saw that I wanted to do things, and I wanted to make sure that I had the time and money to do them.
So were there any points earlier in your life, and thank you for opening up. A lot of times people don't want to, you love your parents, but we always want to be better than our parents, and your parents didn't go to school. So that was a little bit of an inspiration for you. So That's what ignited you. But during that time, were you always good with money? Did you ever have stress? So you had dead end jobs. I hear that. And not every person says, I don't want to be here. And then, you had an opportunity at a bank, so I guess my question is, did you ever have any stress, and what really, were you always good with money?
I pretty much was, good with money is, so I didn't spend a lot of money. I didn't spend a lot of money, but I didn't learn how to invest money until I was much older. So I in the 90s, when I was starting to get better jobs, and I was worked at the Providence Phoenix, and I was the controller there for 10 years, and then the Jewish Community Center. And I was putting money in my 401k, but I didn't even really understand then how to invest and what it really meant. So I don't know that I was good at money. I was good at saving. So this is one of the things that I've learned so well now. I have an investment mentor now. When we talk about getting coaches, you're my personal trainer. I have an investment mentor. I'm still learning. And I wish I had this guidance early on. And this is what I want to bring to people, because you can reach out and you can find the help and get you to where you want to go. But you have to be, eyes wide open. You have to be paying attention. So that was the piece that was missing for me. And everybody that I talk to has the same story now. When I have older clients, they say, I only wish I had started earlier. If I had only known what the difference it was going to make. And so when we talk about working with young adults, I can show them, this is what happens when you start investing early instead of getting pulled into different directions. So,
and it's we talk about that, you and I, a lot, and hearing that, it just resonates with what training is. So you mentioned the word coaching, and to be a good coach is to know how to guide. And you were talking about, where people are intimidated. And I wish I started younger. And many times you and I. So let's talk about the JCC. And Susan and I. Gosh, we've known each other for what, 25 years, Susan?
Just not quite, almost though.
So yeah, and if you could pull up those pictures, there we are. So that's at the top at the Jewish Community Center. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I just want to share, because you have been and are my coach, and I am going to make sure I get back with you, because I have taken a little bit of a break, but it's important to get back into it. You see that top picture of me with the hat. We'll get into that story.
Yeah.
And over to the right, I was a health and fitness major. I feel that I'm a good, inspiring coach, but I was always scared and intimidated by numbers. And Susan, you were the controller there for years. And I remember when you first came in, and then I became the health and fitness director, and I had to work with budgets. And I swear, I think someone told me that I had to go in the middle of the Bronx and the worst neighborhood in the world and try to figure my way out. Like, that's how scared I was. I never put it on the outside, but I was so scared of numbers. And personally too, I spent a lot of time having fun, traveling twice a year, and building up a lot of debt. So when we met, you just had this amazing way about you that I can, after hearing the history of you self-perseverance. So you have a lot of self-perseverance. And what's cool about you and with numbers is that you make people feel like it's okay. You're not stupid.
It is okay. They're not stupid. They're not stupid. We didn't learn this.
Personality. I know. So you were a good coach. So talk, and I want you to share that story. So thank you. I've become better with my numbers and my budget. Own a business now, and we'll go into that story. But that picture, Ed, if we can go back to that picture of why do I have a parrot on my shoulder? So we're going to go back to that picture.
Yeah.
So this is a cool story. Do you mind sharing that story of why I have a parrot on my shoulder?
No, this is my favorite story. Oh my gosh. So you'll be surprised, excuse me, but you'll be surprised to see that I still have the parrot. So that is a picture that was at the Jewish Community Center. Lisa threw a party for me because I was leaving to go to the Caribbean. I had made this huge life decision that I was going to leave my job. I had been there for 7 years, and it was time, to move on. But I wanted to do something I had only dreamed about. And when we talked before about my upbringing and not having a lot of money and starting college late, after that, there was also a series of people that passed away that were very close to me, way too young. And that was my impetus to say, hey, what do I want to do? Am I going to get to the things I want to do before I get too old or life passes me by? So going to the Caribbean, and because that's where I would spend my vacation, 1 week a year, every year up until then. So I had this goal to do that. And I talked to Lisa. Lisa can tell you about that a little bit, but I really had to check in because I'm very conservative normally. And this was so outside of anything that I had ever done. And I was going to leave my job and go live in the Caribbean for 3 months. And so I saved my money and I paid my debt and I checked in with my friends and family, and they said, yeah, you should do it. You should do it. Well, this was 2006. And it seems now with the pandemic, a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm ditching my life. I'm going to go, do whatever. But it was a big departure for me. So it was the best decision I ever made. 15 years ago, I did this. I moved. I ended up living in the Caribbean for three. Oh my God, those pictures are great. I lived there for 3 years in St. Croix, and I worked because I was, I didn't have a trust fund. I had no money came my way that I didn't earn. And so I rented my house out. I went to the Caribbean. I had the best adventure.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, and I came back. People say, why did you come back? I said, I never went to live there. I only wanted to experience living in the environment and with the people. And so, so I bought a condo there, and now I can go there. And I just was able to go this past winter. And I think it's looking at the future. Not everybody has that ability to see themselves 15 years down the road. I saw myself 15 years down the road when I was 50 years old. I wanted to be in have my own business, and that I could work remotely, that I could explore places that make me feel alive. And so,
yeah. So so there you are, jumping off. How high is that jump, Susan?
I don't know.
You want to talk about me breakdancing on my 50th? How high is the jump?
That was just this past winter. I don't know. It's like 4 or 6 feet, jumping in to go snorkeling. So, had my friend take the picture. She had my equipment. She threw it to me in the water. I had one of my best snorkeling days ever that day. Yeah. It was fabulous.
So I just want to tell my perspective, and I'm hearing the same trend, Susan, that you planted a seed. When you were younger, you saw your parents didn't have an education. You didn't want to be a dead-end job. You planted a seed, and you kept taking one step at a time.
Yep,
and
one
then
step.
At JCC, you said, I want to do this, and you planted the seed. And we're going to come back to that. What you just hit. What we want to talk about more about your company. You planted the seed 15 years ago. So you and I, because I was also in charge of facilities, were in the Men's Health Club, and I had to say I was in charge of facilities because it was under construction. There was no.
That's why we were in the health club.
Exactly, the Men's Health Club. So I remember her sitting me down, and she said, I got to ask your opinion and your advice. Do you think I'm crazy? I said, I think you're crazy, but what's the question? And so she broke into it, and she said, I want to go to St. Croix and just live there, maybe 6 months to a year, and just quit. Now, Susan had this amazing cushy job. I'm kidding. It wasn't cushy. I'm kidding. I'm joking. It's so not cushy. But she had a lot of vacation time, and she had security, correct? Security to what we thought. And there's different ways to not realize you can't always be comfortable. So, and I said, you want to do what? You want to just up and quit your job? Yeah, I think you're awesome. And you so inspired me, so you're one of my mentors, and you did it. And you did it. And you took a leap of faith. And then I thought you were coming back in a year, and you came back 3 years. So let's talk about you coming back in 3 years. And you came back in an economic crisis. So you came back.
Yeah, it was crazy. So when I made this decision to go, it was just the 3 months. I had a ticket back. I had my ticket back February 26th. I was December 1st to February 28th, whatever. And then I was offered a job, and that's when I stayed, and I put all the pieces together. But when I came back, when I left, part of my decision making was I've got a good resume. I've had good, jobs. I have good education. I can come back. All I need to do is come back and get a job. Well, that was in December of 2006. And then we had the housing crisis and the Great Recession. So when I was coming back in 2009, I said, I want to come back. And now Rhode Island had the worst unemployment in the country with Michigan. The stock market had crashed. It was terrible. But I was, with my experience and my education and I don't know what, my ability to convince somebody I could take a, get this job, I ended up at Rhode Island Public Radio in a fabulous
you had no radio experience.
No, I had I had a little bit of media experience with the Providence Phoenix, but the job was the perfect fit for me. So I was their first time finance director and I was promoted to the chief operating officer. So it was during that, now that was a 10-year span. So it was during that time that I was socking more money away, that I was paying more debt down, and eventually not knowing I was going to have a financial coaching business, but I knew that I was going to do something that was going to allow me to help people, to do what I loved, and to be able to travel and be flexible. So I set that in motion and here we are. So I'm just so grateful. You can't believe how grateful I was to be in St. Croix this past winter and be thinking.
How long did you stay there?
I was there for about 3 months. And I was able to say, 15 years ago, I bought my little condo and now here I am and it's all come to pass. But I think
our listeners may be wondering, you kind of fast forward and I want to get to that. So when you came back to St. Croix, right? You came back to Rhode Island, you got this job. Again, I just, there's a pattern here. And the pattern is you keep moving forward and you had financial goals and you squirreled away and you were smart with your money. You weren't frivolous. You had a plan. And then we started working out again together because we trained together, right? You worked with me, I worked you out. And I believe that's the first time that you never ran a 5K before. Tell us a little bit about your fitness journey and your experience with that.
Until I met Lisa, I never knew how to run on a treadmill. I never tried to. I had always been active. I'd always, aerobics, or before I met Lisa, I was doing a lot of swing dancing, and that was fun. Biking a little bit, but until I met Lisa, I had never worked out with weights. I had never run on a treadmill. I had never even thought about running a 5K, and all of those things happened because I put myself in her hands, and she got me to do this stuff. Oh my God, I'm going to get a little teary-eyed right now. Yeah, she pushes me. She helps me. This is the value of a coach. They know your strengths. You've talked to them about your goals. They know, she knows when my knee hurts or my shoulder hurts or whatever. And then I can do things that the photo of me with a sweaty head was Christmas Day 2019 when I hiked the highest peak on St. Croix with a bunch of friends. And I love doing those kinds of things. And in order for me to do those kinds of things, like jump off the pier and go snorkeling and do that hiking, I have to take step by step. I have to do my workouts. I have to not eat too much ice cream and just have my coach guide me. Don't you be eating ice cream in front of me.
So you set that up perfectly, and thank you for trusting me as I trust you. And there's you can't. It takes a village, and I get that. And so now I'm going to, when you came back from St. Croix, we started exercising again together, started coaching you again, and then we were just talking about, oh my gosh. It was almost like the chocolate met the peanut butter and the peanut butter met the chocolate. Yeah. And we had this Reese's peanut butter that was fat-free in our head. And then we were like, Susan, financial coaching, being financially fit. Thank you. You helped guide me become financially fit. And you also help awaken me to realize that journey never stops. So yes, you gave me these amazing skill sets. Listen, girl, you want to hear something? I don't know if I shared this with you, but thanks to our guidance, I was able to refi. I went from a 30-year to a 15-year, went from 4% to 2.6%.
Awesome.
So, that's because of your guidance. And we're going to meet again because I have to reassess again and go
we're going to take a temperature check.
We're going to take a temperature check. So that's leading into, so we worked out for a couple of years. You enjoyed NPR, Publix Radio. Sorry, I'm a Rhode Islander. It's like the Dunkin' Donuts is on the corner of it. But we started talking. You started saying, hey, Lise, and you said this 15 years ago, I would love to coach people. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. Blah, blah, blah. Look what you've done. Look what I've done. And the importance of having people who support you and believe in you is huge. So,
It is.
so share about that. So I'm so proud of you. Now we're saying, now here you are today. This didn't happen overnight. And how many years ago have you owned? Your business. Tell us about your business.
Awesome. So my business is Mind Your Money, LLC. So I do financial coaching. I'm a money coach. I'm also an accredited financial counselor, because I believe in getting the education that you really need to back you up, just like Lisa did, I do. I coach people, individuals, couples. I do workshops for nonprofits. I also going into businesses now and in employee wellness, doing financial training for your employees as part of their benefit package. So I love it. I talk about my journey and where I've come from and how I've managed to do the things that I want to do. And I just love sharing that with people.
Ed, can you show the picture of her coaching one of her programs, her corporate? Yeah, no. So I can attest that Susan you are. Yeah. Like I said, I worked with you when I was at the Jewish Community Center. There you are. Tell us, what's this?
This was wonderful. This was the Rhode Island Society of CPAs asked me to come in. And this was a group of accounting. They were either new graduates or about to graduate accounting students, mainly from Roger Williams, Johnson & Wales, some other schools. And I got to go in and we did a 3-hour morning. And my topic was how to be the best CFO of your life. So they had accounting students. They had no financial education around their own personal finances. And it was wonderful to talk to them about what their goals were, how they had to, manage their money to get to where they wanted to go. They were trained in how to manage the books for a company, but not personalize it for their own lives. So I am still in touch with these kids, I shouldn't call them kids, young adults. They are a wonderful bunch. I've done a few trainings for the Rhode Island Society of CPAs. They're really invested in our students' futures.
Susan, you're just amazing. And this is why, we're grateful that you're here on this program, because I wanted our viewers to understand that being physically fit is about the mind, body, and spirit. And being financially fit helps with that level of stress. I can say that personally, and I can attest that this woman, Susan, has walked the walk. She's talked the talk. And listen, there are people out there who are numbers people, and I'm not putting them down, but not all number people are coaches and make you feel like you're in their hands and you're natured and nurtured and they guide you without you even knowing. Next thing you know, you're doing budgets. Next thing you know, you're doing Excel spreadsheets. Next thing you know, you're doing formulas. I'm like, wow, check me out. I'm all proud of myself. So that's why you're on this program, The Inner Life of Fitness, to help inspire and ignite. And tell us what's your vision? What's the future for Susan? Because God, you've done so much already. And
I'll tell you in a minute. I just want to say, you just reminded me, you were hungry to learn this. You were hungry to manage your own money. You were hungry to manage your budgets well for the Jewish Community Center. And that's the thing. I mean, you can't bring somebody something if they don't want it. So if you have that hunger and you have that desire, you will find a way to it. So, and you took to it so fantastically, right? You did a great job.
Well, listen, we've worked together long enough, and I'm going to say it to my viewers, like, I'm very passionate, and with passion sometimes becomes emotion. So you definitely have to be the right fit for me, because I will put up my walls very quickly because I'm a survivor. I'll figure it out stumbling along the way. I don't mean figure it out the right way. Yeah. But my point is, and I've talked about this in my past shows, that listen to your gut instinct, right? And understand that, find the right coach for you. And being financially fit is so important, and it's possible.
It is. Money is emotional. You just brought up something. Money is emotional, managing money. And this is why a lot of people, they have regret. They may have made bad decisions. They may have some shame around maybe not having enough money. We have a lot of our self-worth tied up in how much people pay us. Mm-hmm. And is that really fair? Is that realistic? So I go into all of those things. It's important that we peel those layers back. And a lot of the financial investment people and stuff like that, they do an awesome job. And I don't do investments. I don't sell investments or any of that. But what I do is I get more to the habits and to the emotions and to get you on a path to where you want to be. So you asked about what's next.
Yeah. What's Susan's future?
Well, I don't, so one of the things that I've been working and talking to some other coaches, I have a great network and support system of people around me. And one of the things that I've been thinking about is there are a group of people, digital nomads, who are working all over the world, and all they need is a Wi-Fi setup. So I can do my coaching from anywhere in the world, right? I knew that when I set up in St. Croix, but I'm not tethered to that now. So I'm actually was looking at Italy. Some towns in Italy are asking for people to come, and they are, supporting them, and you can go for like 3 months or 6 months. And I'm just, that seed was planted for me. And so now I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe someplace like that's going to be next.
Well, anything and everything is possible. And would you mind giving our viewers a tip, a piece of advice, financially?
Absolutely. You're going to make me only give them one piece.
Okay, we'll take
okay.
Like 3.
I think the thing that I say a lot is eyes wide open. Whatever you're getting, if you're going to get a loan, a house, investment, you have to be eyes wide open. You have to know exactly what you're getting into, and tie that into where you want to be. So, right now you might, that's a great car. I'm going to get this car. It's $500 a month for 7 years or whatever. Perfect. But do you have that money set aside for later on when you're going to need to have retirement and stuff like that? So eyes wide open, know the impact of what you're doing today and how that's going to impact you 15 years later, because that's what you have to do to be where you want to go. So eyes wide open. One of the things I tell the young students when I meet with them is, don't go broke trying to look rich. Mm-hmm. That this is, there are a bunch of marketing people, the sneakers, the Apple, the iPhones, the whatever. They know your emotions, and they know how to separate you from your money. But next year they'll be after you to buy something else. So don't go broke. Trying to figure out what your goals are, and then have an accountability person, a parent, a coach, somebody to keep checking in on you and saying, how you doing with your goals?
Wow.
It's okay to splurge a little bit, but
it gave me goosebumps. Like, totally, don't go broke to get rich.
Don't go broke trying to look rich.
Wow.
The marketers, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to separate us from our money. That's their jobs. And they have a bunch of people who's behavioral psychologists who understand how, the Facebook ads, the Instagram ads, all of that stuff, we're targeted. And you have to, get very quiet and put blinders up. What do I want to do? Where do I want to be in 15 years, 10 years, whatever it is, different stages of your life.
Don't go broke to get rich. That is
trying to look rich. Yeah.
Susan, from Mind Your Money, LLC, you have been an inspiration. If you want to reach out to Susan and see if she can at least give a free consultation to see if you guys vibe together, you can go to Mind Your Money, LLC. Susan, you want to say?
Yeah, mindyourmoneyllc.com. You can set up, there's a free consultation there. We can, set up a phone call or a video chat and see if, if what I can do is what you want. So
we thank you so much for coming. Reach out to Susan. Check her out on her Facebook. She also has Facebook, social media, and Instagram. Correct, Susan?
Yep. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
Great. She puts out some good free information on there. Follow her on Mind Your Money LLC on her Instagram page, on her Facebook page. Reach out, check out her website. I can personally attest to her, and I recommend Susan very highly, who is already going to email me at the end of the show and set up her appointment for next week. Oh, she's going to kick my butt. So thank you, Susan, for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
So happy that you joined us. We wish you well, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you to our viewers. Look at me. You got me all messed and crazy. So I want to thank you for joining me today. We absolutely enjoyed Susan. She's such a peach, and she does know her stuff. And I do, again, recommend her. Tune in next week to the Inner Life of Fitness, where we're going to interview and meet the very own Allison Bologna, an award-winning journalist, a co-anchor of the NBC Channel 10 News Sunrise. And she's also a founder of Shri Yoga. You're going to learn a lot about her. It's an urban outreach yoga organization. And through She, Allison has created a nonprofit organization that provides 100 free classes every month to groups in need. She's fostering the power of natural healing of yoga for a well-balanced life. Learn more about her inspiring stories next week. And if you have any inspiring stories, feel free to email me, lisa@bodysoultraining.com. We'd love to have you on our show and share your inspiring story to help others. Thank you. And remember to take it one day at a time. Move more, drink more water, and breathe. Until next week, this is the Inner Life of Fitness. Take care, everybody.